What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the 9th album by American singer Frank Sinatra. Based this product is called In the Wee Small Hours, and it came out in the spring of 1955. So fair about this product here, I wanted to get to some Frank Sinatra as far as this fair is going to happen. Now, I actually have, within the sense behind it, I have a Frank Sinatra album scheduled within these pitches. That's probably, you're going to see this one in August of 2025, but within the pitch, the one that I'm going to review probably within the next few weeks probably will not surface until possibly even out in the summer of 2026. So as far as I'm pretty far ahead within like the aspects as far as these tones going to happen, but just the pitch in terms of having something from Frank Sinatra in the here and now. Now, more or less, Larry the Batman fan also requested that I review some Frank Sinatra. I already had one planned, but I'm not going to make the I realize in terms of him waiting until the summer of 2026 would be kind of lengthy within those pitches, so I'm going to get to one of these now within these formats. So it's just within the pitch as far as in. So I look after here. This is an easy classic within these ordeals. Definitely a pretty gas type project. Definitely like the tones behind it. Now within these particular fairs, this is probably the first album from the 50s whatsoever that I've reviewed within these pitches. So it's a differential type format. I've heard, of course, Frank Sinatra in passing by pitches like that, but probably wouldn't be able to significantly distinguish the song as far as those pitches can happen. But it's just been excellence as far as saying, I realize he's a consistent highlight and one of the focal points of the 20th century in terms of musicians as far as those fairs can happen. So I definitely, he dropped albums throughout the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, pitches like that. It was kind of within the ordeal as far as saying within the pitch, as far as wondering which ones are like the most classic of the classics within those ordeals. So I'm going to get to this one. This one caught my attention. Definitely like the aspect behind it. So this is what I went with. Then the excellence of it, excellent ordeals. Recommend all 16 of the songs. There's songs in here. This is a concept album within those pitches, particularly kind of dismayed as far as those formats going to happen. Definitely like the aspect of these particular tones. It just has, like, I really appreciate like the album cover as far as these fairs going to happen. Definitely within the pitch, it really depicting the way the album fair kind of particularly kind of happens. A lot of this does feel pretty within the aspect of disc weavings throughout like the content of disc late shift type retire pitches like that. There is a little bit of makeshift on this particular album, but within the fair idea, really within a 50s type fashion, it seems interesting within some of these type pitches, despite the fact, like when I was saying that it was going to be kind of within the midnight hours, 2, 3, 4 in the morning pitches like that. There's certain products that kind of have that particular feel, but it really doesn't have as much full bound kind of within the pitch of the product of, I think nowadays, 70 years later within these pitches, the format of the particular aspect as far as listening to this more type fair, a lot of this type product gave me more vibes of probably between like the hours of probably 5 o'clock p.m. to midnight. Some of those type fairs within the pitch, but just within the product, a lot of the more Broadway and theater type appeal definitely gave me more vibes of like kind of more evening, kind of date evening type gave me a lot more vibes like evening kind of date night type fashions within the pitch as far as just like a more glamorous type step out within the product of it. And now there's particular fair, there is some brooding about this product. A lot of it has more post hour type product within the fair as far as talking about like the after effects of mistakes that were made, pitches like that within those ordeals. But it's kind of the product as far as saying that there is a good assort. It's kind of some day type product, and then the after moments, not just the wee small hours, but like the after effect of like the days and the opening days and after moments, like the product of like the harrow as far as those fairs can happen. So it's just in the pitch as far as saying it has that particular fair. So I think I like the conduct of the album being called In the Wee Small Hours, but it has more like the format within the pitch as far as saying like the moments as far as like, okay, if Saturday was the foul day where the breakup happened, so those type moments where the rottenness kind of happened, it's kind of like the following Monday and Wednesday and some of those type fairs the subsequent weeks, some of those type pitches within the format as far as those pitches can happen. But it's just kind of the product as far as saying you get the type fair and just consistent kind of harrow and just the upside downness that kind of goes along with it. But I do like the fair disc. It's really not particular. There's not really particular kind of swinging songs on this album, like the swinging Frank Sinatra. I'm not sure if he was doing swinging songs prior to like this 1955 album within these pitches, but you don't really get a sense of like the jive of just something. This is more of like a kind of 50s kind of rhythm and blues type album within the pitch as far as those fairs can have. It doesn't have so much like a real jive of just something that you're going to have like several shots lick or something like that within the aspect as far as like a good kind of upkeep. There's not really Friday type songs within the pitch. There's a good amount of rhythm. I'm trying to figure out like more or less to say whether or not it has like a dance song on here. It's more within the fashion of like Retire and then kind of like Date Night kind of Starry type step out within the pitch. Just kind of more has more composition and sophistication within it within the full band. It's not to say like that's the problem, it's just the pitch as far as saying, just realizing in terms of like a ballroom type song, I wouldn't have it as full bound within the pitch, but it's not to say, I mean, it's just kind of the product, it is pretty social within the pitch, so it does have the product like some night type fare. You do get like the occasional lounge type song pitches like that within ordeals. It's just more kind of It's more mingle than like jive as far as those pairs comes. I'd say within pitch, but it didn't seem like there was a single off this product. The most popular song according to Spotify is the song in the wee small hours of the mornings. That's the one I'm going to talk about first within these fairs behind it. So it's just a particular pitch. I recommend all 16 of the songs. They're actually songs on here, so easy 10 out of 10 to be able to say within the pitch. But basically, in the wee small hours of the morning, which is more or less the title track of this album, is like a sleepy drifting and like the ghost hours. I'd say pitches like that. Just kind of a crisp smoke break. The song is good for like a crisp smoke break as far as those fairs going to have. So definitely excellent within pitch. Just the product, like how this particular album pans out within these fairs behind it, is kind of a typical type fashion for just weaving through like night streets at more 2-3 a.m. pitches like that. So there are some moments like that on here within certain type pitches, but it's kind of the format as far as saying you do get a pretty bountiful assortment of other type moments on here within the pitch behind as far as these fairs going to happen. Like for example, Mood Indigo is a nice one within these pitches. Is like a relative kind of town after moments makeshift, I'd say, within the pitch behind it. This has like some casual drifting about it, just good slumped passage as far as those fairs going to happen. So it's kind of out and about, but just the traffic like a usual type fair, but just kind of in a more upside down type fashion, just kind of the pitch. Probably the closest thing to like a full bound makeshift type song within the pitch of more of just like the 50s kind of commerce pitches like that. It just typical to and fro within the aspects as far as those pitches kind of happen. It's kind of missed the day passage, some of those type fairs within the pitch, but just kind of within the theme of this particular album as far as those fairs kind of happens. It is kind of the pitch as far as nailing that, but just good type bustle. This has relative kind of vanilla snap and packaging about it, I'd have to say. I'll Be Around is a quality one. It's like a homely and warmer kind of cozy evening blaze, I'd say, within the aspects of it here. Just definitely some fireplace music, I'd say. Let the tunes bleed out as far as this first happens. So just the 50s rendition, like some Spotify bleed, is more within the conduct of a crisper, kind of more cozy type aspect within the tone. It's kind of some slow jam retire as far as this first going to happen. Definitely within the pitch and nail in that particular aspect behind it, just in a retro type sense as far as this first going to happen. Excellent within the pitch. Another one within those products would be Deep in a Dream. It's like a cozy residential kind of after day. Deep in a Dream is like a cozy residential after a day of rounds, I'd say, within the pitch behind it here. So just by day of rounds, I mean the particular day, afternoons, fashions like that, of just having like a nice lunch, something within those aspects, or a movie, something within those tones of particular fare. Just like at the follow-up and more residential bound type sense within the pitch behind it. Just good. Nice mingles, just a grand lounge and loosening song as far as this pitch goes. So just miss the pitch, the coat's no longer on pitches like that. It's kind of aspect of just not quite being as tight knit within those fairs as far as the aspects of it kind of happen within the aspect as far as the tones kind of go. Good type product for just more homebound typeness within another Spotify bleed within those aspects, or just the pitch as far as saying just domain accommodation pitches like that, I had to say within the pitch. So good type fare. It Never Entered My Mind is a nice one. It never entered my mind as a nice one. It's like a vintage Sinatra and like routine kind of day shift dredge. I'd say here, just typical kind of Aaron runs pitch like that. So this one, not quite as much upkeep and like the similar type, not quite as much upkeep and standard bustle, but just a typical type one that just feels like a factory kind of Sinatra within the tone as far as those aspects. It is something within that similar basic kind of format. So just good type pitch. I mean, it has similarities to Mood Indigo, some of those type ones. There's another one on here I'm trying to think of within these pitches. I'd probably say I get along without you very well. Some of these type pitches within the fair, but this is just a typical type one that just is basic kind of makeshift noise weekday type fair within the pitch. For this fair kind of just good for air runs. And speaking of, I Get Along Without You very well is like a bruised kind of residential thought, I'd say, here within the pitch behind it. Just kind of miffed aspects about it. It's kind of some routine sail along. Actually, the song I was talking about that's more like It Never Entered My Mind is When Your Lover Has Gone. Is When Your Lover Has Gone pitches like that. So When Your Lover Has Gone is like post-hour thought, I'd say, within pitch behind it. Just some driftings here to definitely get this extra time, I'd say, within pitch as far as those pitches going to happen. Just preoccupied kind of errand days. So this pitch, when I say extra time, is kind of the format as far as saying, it's kind of noticing within the product of just having mishaps with the standard diva pitches like that. Just kind of extra type fare, just having more to do within some type products, but just kind of fair as far as saying, probably what time consists of amidst the fair when it's not having to do with work related type stuff, or just the format of something recreational, just from the product, just kind of upside down within the pitch, like the usual fair. This particular album pitches like that, but just kind of some preoccupied kind of errand days. So it's kind of within the aspect, this thing, you do get some good drifting type songs in the aspect of typical type commerce pitches like that. What Is This Thing Called Love is a nice one as well. It's like a woozy kind of city street sauntering kind of get. This one's pretty similar to In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning pitches like that. Just kind of bruised but active kind of weaving as far as what's going to happen. Basic gallivants within the pitch of just kind of drunkenness, but just kind of aspect of just having some good type times in the aspect of like the bruise type fashion. So just typical type fare upside down within the pitch of just having like some spark about it within those particular conducts about it. So kind of haphazard but gets along as far as this fair is going to happen. Ill Wind is a nice one. It's like a makeshift frost and dredge kind of get within the products of it, just out and around in like a slummish kind of bad spat type mode, pitches like that. Just the particular product that just like bicker within the product, just fares like that. Just nice song to pick up some goods, pitches like that. Standard fares, get some supplies for like toke, get some supplies for like the fare getting fucked up, pitches like that within the product of it. Just standard routine type fare. Not so much full bound errand run, but just more within a recreational type sense. Just in the aspect of trying to have some pick me ups within the format as far as those tones gonna have a great song to toke too, as far as those fares would kind of go. So more or less just bad spats within those pitches as far as those formats kind of particularly happen. This kind of has the particular aspect of this like gripe within the fashion, this personable type gripe within the aspects as far as those tones kind of have, but just kind of within the product of this kind of being chipper and just in the swing of it as far as those pairs can happen. This easy type song to kind of have. Easy type song that has some off bass type moments and the easy kind of off bass type moments to have some out and around as far as those pairs can happen. Just get some good pitches like that within those pairs as far as the slummish type sense kind of goes along with a good type fare. Last Night When We Were Young is a quality one. It's like a movie night and starry kind of romantic downtime, I'd say, within the pitch behind it here. Just basic kind of soul blaze. So this kind of pitch, this gab pitches like that. This kind of one that's not as much full bound amidst the aspect like the after moment type fare. This is a particular song that's not as much in a brood type mode within the pitch behind it, but kind of amidst like the date evening pitches like that within the products of this like gab and kind of the commotion of it as far as those fares are going to happen. So just amidst the pitch of it's a good Friday, Thursday type night. Now within the pitch behind it, this is the fare I was talking about within the pitch that it has. Like I was saying, this is more of a mingle type one within pitch. This is kind of not so much where this would be like a dance club pitches like that where you go out for like a step out for like some ballroom type jive pitches like that. But this is kind of more the ordeal of like, good solid old fashioned movie pitches like that, or some sort of starry dinner, some of those particular type fashion, just romantic kind of night blade as far as this pitch can happen. Excellent downtime within pitch as far as this pitch can happen. Just good connect. Can't We Be Friends is a quality one as well as like a mishap and bad hair day kind of moments within the pitch behind it as far as these pairs can happen. Argumentative pitches like that, say within tone. Just definitely need to pick me ups, I'd say within tone as far as these aspects can happen. Just great song to head to a lounge as far as those pairs are going to happen. It's kind of product, one of those type ones that just middle fingers up. Maybe not so much middle fingers up in terms of like being like fuck this woman, fuck that hoe, some of those type pitches, but within the format as far as saying within the fair, just kind of need to let off steam, kind of be like, alright, I'm going to get some drinks in my system, I'm going to get tore up and just, groove past this particular mishap as far as these fairs can happen, just kind of within the tone. Work some kinks out as far as those fairs going to happen. Dancing on the Ceiling's a quality one. Definitely appreciate the tone of this particular one. It's like a smarmy and jovial kind of lounge music to kind of get here, just feeling Ritz. I would definitely say this definitely is one, probably the closest thing in a 50s type aspect to a song that feels like something you'd have some smokes in your system. One of those type ones, either a bottle and a half of wine, something like that, or just some smoke in your system. Pitches like that, just good for some goodies. Some of those type fairs having treats for bells, pitches like that. Some of those type tones, memes, obviously within the product, just some good laugh product and just overall lit type songs. So just a pitch as far as saying this one has a good type ordeal within the fashion and just more within the candid typeness about it. I'd say probably this particular song, Dancing on the Ceiling, and then also like Last Night When We Were Young had the products like the kind of things more in like an affable type sense than the pitch. There are some good nice ones on here within these pitches. I do definitely like the upside downness about this product. This gives you some fares as far as like the product of this, something versus some drinks to kind of have within like the 3M type product. This stuff for like the 3am type product to like rebuke as far as this fair's gonna happen just in a fashion if like the standard mishap, if the standard makeshift gets kind of annoying pitches like that, I had to say. I'm trying to think of other songs I haven't talked about on here. Like I'd probably say This Love of Mine is a nice one as well as like a daytime strut and afterthought to kind of get within the aspects of it here. Just contemplate that. This Love of Mine's like a daytime strut and This Love of Mine's like a daytime strut and afterthought contemplate to kind of get within the aspects of it here. Just smoke a nice one. I would definitely recommend within the product of it. Just kick rocks as far as this is going to happen. So when I say kick rocks, just kind of the after product of this kind of having a mishap within the ordeal where you're kind of in the doghouse or within fairs like that within the aspect of this particular product of just not being on good terms within the not having the most pleasant of things as far as this fairs going to happen. So it's just within the pitch as far as saying just a kick rocks type one to kind of be down on your luck and shucks within those ordeals as far as just like the pitch behind it. But definitely a good type fare to just smoke within the bus. So this definitely feels like a snack run type song within pitch as far as just getting some gas station runs kind of going within the product of this neighborhood type fare, but just kind of in a more chummish kind of drat type mode and pitches like that, I had to say. In a more chummish and drat type mode, I'd have to say within the products of it. But I look after it here, trying to think of other songs I haven't talked about on here. I don't think I talked about Glad to Be Unhappy. This is another nice one. This is like a drowsy but attentive kind of 50s swinging grit to kind of get within the aspects of it here. Still in grind mode still more or less in grind mode after a long day as far as these fairs can happen. Now this is another one that's traditional kind of Frank Sinatra, more within that swinging kind of upkeep of folks like Tony Bennett, some of those type folks with the pitch behind it. This just has that particular format amidst that. This is one of those type ones that does not have like the usual type fare, like the upside down type sense of the particular product. It's at least one that kind of has like some kind of chipperness about it, that despite the aspect of the slump, kind of has the fare of just having some upkeep and wanting to get right back in the swing of it as far as this pitch comes. So just within the pitch as far as saying. So I think I more or less talked about all these songs as far as these pitches kind of go. I think there's one more I haven't talked about, which is I See Your Face Before Me. It's like a night shift brooding, I'd say, just classic kind of 50s residential within aspects as far as those tones going to have. And songs like some classic 50s residential ruminates as far as those pitches going to happen along with it, and just good for some extras as far as those pitch gaps. So just within the product, every now and then there's like some extra time type formats within the pitch as far as like fares, just the product of having like some moments that are not so much within the product of like point A or point B, just within fashion, or mind on the bell, or mind on the club, or mind on work pitches like that, some type pitches, but just kind of the format more or less would kind of be house clean type music, or just standard tasks around the crib, some of those type aspects within the tone as far as just typical type fare, just something to kind of get done within the fashion, just something that just kind of has the fare of extra type product within the aspect as far as getting towards it. So it's just a pitch as far as saying, but I look after it here, definitely goes like a good just homebound type tune within pitches like that, similar to songs like I'll Be Around and like Deep in a Dream, some of those type ones. So I look in the pitch, so yeah, this album gets an easy 10 out of 10. The social score's gonna get a 10 out of 10 as well. I definitely like I definitely like the composition behind this album within the product, just within the fares, like the typical kind of outing type noise. It has some makeshift songs on here, has some products for like some hangout and date night type evenings, pitches like that, just the retire and just the after effects of like a slump type fashion, and just the product of just mishaps and like the typical kind of disconnect as far as those pairs can happen, and then the reconnect as far as those pairs can happen, just within the aspect, just within the pitch as far as saying, does it in like a very kind of, just nails traditional pop and has the aspect of having like some rhythmic type jive about it. Now, like I was saying, doesn't have like a dance club kind of Friday type music. It's really not billiards halls, and it's really not billiards hall and bar hop type songs within the pitch as far as those fits can happen. And for the most part, looking after a song where you would take these particular starlets as far as these pitch can have within the product, it does have like a song or two for like movie type fashion, some city scene kind of step out within the pitch behind the fares. But for the most part, this particular album has more focus kind of on the aspect of like the after effect of just like mistakes were made and pitches like that within the tone, as far as just saying the product of kind of straightening in some of those type fares within the pitch. But I look after it, definitely nails those after moments as far as getting towards the product of just having like a good mingle and accommodation as far as this physical album. So definitely excellent within the pitch, but it's just the fair to know that it's more of kind of like, it's kind of more beginning of the week and more weekday type fashions, more so than Friday, Saturday, and Thursday within certain senses. So it's just kind of pitch as far as saying, look after here. In terms of the future, the unfortunate thing is Frank Sinatra is deceased. Now, he's been alive. He was alive back in like the 1910s, so it's quite some time ago as far as this person can happen. But it's just within the pitch as far as saying, like I said, I'm going to get to more Frank Sinatra. This was more or less like a request from Larry the Batman fan within these pitches, but probably the ones I'm going to review that I had in like the normal scheduled sense are probably not going to surface till the summer of 2026 pitches like that. But this is a classic here, definitely blistering within appeal, easy kind of knockout and some dynamite type noise that has like got a lot of good Apple type senses for being in a funk, and the retribution and the straightening as far as this person happen with the excellence of it.